What if I told you that you can study like a top Harvard student? The real secret is not just raw intelligence. It is a strategy you use. Today, you are going to discover powerful learning methods used by Harvard students so you can master any subject like a genius. Make sure you stay until the end, because the final tip will boost your chances of getting an A+ more than anything else. Tip 1. The interleaving method. Harvard students do not spend hours cramming a single subject. Instead, they use a technique called interleaving. Think of it as cross-training for your brain. Rather than focusing on one topic for a long time, they mix related subjects together. For example, instead of studying math for 3 hours straight, they switch between math, physics, and coding. Research shows that this approach reflects real-world problem solving and helps your brain retrieve information faster. By rotating between topics, you strengthen neural connections and improve long-term memory. To apply this, avoid sticking to one subject per session. Instead, rotate subjects. For instance, spend 30 minutes on history, then move to science, and then to literature. This forces your brain to adapt, making learning deeper and more effective. Tip 2. The 10,000-foot view. Most people learn step by step, but Harvard students begin with a big picture perspective. They try to understand the overall idea before diving into details. Before reading a textbook, they skim the entire chapter, looking at headings, key ideas, and summaries. Then they ask themselves what the main concept is. Once they understand a broader idea, they go into the details. This makes learning faster because the brain already has a framework, reducing confusion and improving retention. A great way to do this is to quickly predict what you are about to learn before studying. Ask yourself what you already know, what questions you have, and how this topic connects to what you learned before. These simple steps make your brain more open to new information. Tip 3. The dual coding method. Harvard students do not just read, they combine words with visuals. This method, called dual coding, can boost memory retention by up to 50%. To use it, turn your notes into diagrams, mind maps, or sketches. Use colors to highlight key ideas so your brain can organize and recall them faster. Watching visual explanations such as animations or infographics also strengthens memory because the brain processes images more efficiently than plain text. For example, if you're studying history, imagine timelines instead of memorizing dates from a list. The more senses you involve, the stronger your memory becomes. Tip 4. Desirable difficulty. This may sound surprising, but Harvard students intentionally make learning harder. This idea is known as desirable difficulty. Struggling with information before seeing the answer actually strengthens retention. Instead of passively reading, they challenge themselves to recall information. You can do this by trying to answer questions before looking them up, taking a difficult quiz before studying, or writing down everything you remember about a topic before checking your notes. The more effort your brain puts in now, the easier it becomes to recall later. Tip 5. The sleep technique. Want to remember information without extra effort? Harvard students take advantage of how the brain works during sleep. Your brain processes and strengthens memories while you rest. The key is to review important information right before going to bed. While you sleep, your brain replays and reinforces those memories. The next morning, quickly reviewing the same material strengthens the connections even more. Here is an extra trick. Use audio. Record yourself summarizing key points and play it quietly as you fall asleep. Neuroscience supports this. Your brain prioritizes and solidifies recent learning during deep sleep. Now let's do a quick test. Think about a subject you have been studying recently. Without looking at your notes, try to recall the 3 most important points you learned. How many did you remember? If it felt difficult, it may mean your brain is not storing information efficiently. That is exactly why the next method will help you improve your memory dramatically. Tip 6. The mental map technique. One of the most powerful memory strategies used by Harvard students and memory champions is the mental map method. This technique, which dates back to ancient Greece, involves linking information to specific locations in a familiar place. For example, if you want to memorize important historical dates, imagine placing each event in a different room in your house. When you need to recall the information, simply walk through your house in your mind and retrieve each piece. This method is especially effective for memorizing large amounts of information quickly. Tip 7. Space repetition. Harvard students do not cram everything in one night. Instead, they use space repetition, a method proven to improve long-term memory. The idea is to review material at increasing intervals, immediately after learning, then after one day, a few days later, and again after a week. This forces your brain to recall information repeatedly over time, strengthening neural pathways and making it much harder to forget. You can use apps like Anki or Quizlet to automate this process and make your study sessions more efficient. Tip 8. The Feynman technique. Nobel Prize-winning physicist Richard Feynman believed that teaching is the best way to learn. Harvard students often explain ideas in simple terms to test their understanding. Try this. Pick a topic and explain it as if you were teaching a 6-year-old. If you struggle, it means you do not fully understand it yet. Go back, simplify it further, and try again. Teaching forces your brain to process information deeply and exposes gaps in your knowledge. And now, the final tip, the one that can turn you into an A+ student. Tip 9. Active recall. The truth is, passive studying like rereading notes or highlighting text does not work well. Harvard students rely on active recall, which means constantly testing themselves. Instead of rereading, close your book and write down everything you remember. Then check your mistakes. A great way to apply this is by turning headings into questions. For example, instead of just reading about the Civil War, ask yourself what the main causes were and force yourself to recall the answer. This method can make learning far more effective. Let us quickly recap these powerful strategies. Interleaving. Mix subjects to improve retention. The 10,000-foot view. Understand the big picture first. Dual coding. Combine words and visuals. Desirable difficulty. Challenge yourself to strengthen memory. Sleep learning. Review before bed. Mental maps. Connect ideas to locations. Space repetition. Review over time. The Feynman technique. Teach to understand deeply. And active recall. Test yourself instead of passively reading. Now, choose one of these methods and try it immediately. See which one works best for you. If you are ready to learn and remember like top Harvard students, take action and start applying these techniques today.